NL West rivalry play. We welcome you back to center field. Jenny Kavnar with you. The offense looks to get going now that they're back at home. Nolan Arenado coming off a game with yet another road home run. Let's see if he can bring that back to Coors Field. For more, let's head downstairs to Mark Stout.
You know what, Jenny? I want Rockies fans to listen to this. If I told you that Charlie Blackmon has 15 more strikeouts than Nolan Arenado, would you think that was unusual? Maybe not. What if I told you DJ LeMahieu has 12 more strikeouts than Nolan Arenado? Now you're listening, aren't you? This is all about Nolan Arenado, the guy that wears number 28. Let's show you his 28th home run that happened yesterday in New York. This was in the first inning. Nolan hit 10 home runs his rookie season. He hit 18 last year when he was injured, and number 28 hit his 28th of this year just yesterday. And Nolan is the guy that, as I said, doesn't strike out, but can hit the long ball. Look at the plate appearances per strikeout and the patience that he has at the dish. This is unparalleled. You see the names there. He is in that group. I talked to both Walt Weiss and Ben Paulson, who knows him well, about this patience he has at the plate.
He never really struck out. He always has good hand-eye coordination, so it was one of those, I don't think I can ever say I've seen him strike out 3 times in a game, maybe twice, a couple times, but you're exactly right. His hand-eye coordination is something special, and that's why he's such a good hitter.
Pretty rare for guys that can hit the ball out of the park and don't strike out. I mean, those guys over the course of, recent history anyway, stick out. I think Nolan's one of those guys, that he's got the power to hit the ball out of any part of the park and keep the strikeouts relatively low. I mean, it's a nice skill set to have.
How nice? Here's one other stat. There are 3 players in baseball that have played 110 games and have 20 homers or more and 70 strikeouts or less. Anthony Rizzo, Albert Pujols, and Nolan Arenado. And the Rockies want to get their bats going tonight. Nolan will hit in the cleanup spot and see if this offense can get fired up coming back to Coors Field. When we return, we'll get you upstairs and get ready for the Rockies and the Padres as they get set for a weekend set in Coors Field.
Welcome to the weekend, everybody. The Rockies welcome you back home, or maybe you all welcome the Rockies back home. They've been on the road for a while, and they'll open up a 9-game homestand over the next 10 days with the San Diego Padres in town for 3. Good evening, and glad everybody is with us tonight with my partner Jeff Houston. I'm Drew Goodman. Ooh, how about the Mets pitching? Before we get to tonight, I don't know if I've ever in my career following baseball seen 3 arms in a row like the Rockies just faced.
Still kind of the buzz. I'm glad they're in the rearview mirror, though, because that was really a gauntlet to go through with those guys. And even John Neese on Monday night was still pretty good. But those 3 youngsters that they ran out there, DeGrom, I know what Cargo said about him after the game yesterday. We were watching. Syndergaard was amazing. Matt Harvey, you know about him. The good news is you don't have to face them, but it is going to be different tonight because you got Tyson Ross, who was an all-star last year. Don't be deceived by his record. He's not getting much run support.
No, he's never gotten run support here, but you're right. He's not exactly chopped liver. Tyson Ross is one of the better right-handed arms in baseball. You know, he may not run it up 98, 99, but he is very talented, and it'll be Johan Flande going for the Rockies. Rockies struggled as most teams do against that Mets pitching staff. They took 2 of 3 in Washington, but they're back home, a place where typically, as we all know, they swing the bats well. It's a chance to get a good feeling going again over these next 10 days.
Well, it is, because you only scored 11 runs in those 7 starts against the starters. Now, some of the numbers you put up were against the bullpen, but only 11 runs scored against the 7 starters you faced on that road trip. So tonight, a little home cooking hopefully will be the answer.
All right. Johan Flande has been pretty good so far this year when been given an opportunity to start. He has made now 4 starts with this one tonight, and the ERA is very solid, south of 4. He doesn't walk people. It's fastball, changeup almost exclusively, and leading things off for the San Diego Padres will be a guy who's swinging the bat very well, Yangervis Solarte. He'll be first, followed by Derek Norris.
Well, for Flande, this will be his first start at home. The other 3 starts came out on the road, obviously, but he has the 2nd highest ground ball percentage with his changeup. So look for the changeup to be in play, and if it is on the ground, it's a good sign.
And his first pitch is in there for a strike. Game time temperature is in the mid-80s, but we noticed when we were down on the field during batting practice, it's kind of East Coast muggy tonight, isn't
Wasn't it? It was some of the humidity that we did not face in Washington and New York. One of the few things that was not accustomed to East Coast weather.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Rockies got great weather on that East Coast swing. Here's the 0-2 on Solarte, and it's nicked foul. So the Padres come in 4th place in the National League West. The Rockies right now in the cellar. And the Padres won, as you know, the winter meetings. They won the Hot Stove League, but they haven't done nearly the amount of winning they thought they would with the collection of stars that they picked up in the offseason. And overall, they've lost 7 of 9 ball games. They did take 2 of 3 at home from Cincinnati in their last series. Prior to that, they were swept by the Phillies, who have played better in the second half. Flande waits for Ben Paulson, 1 out. Batting in the 2 spot tonight will be Derek Norris for San Diego, ordinarily a catcher, but he has been playing some first base. He's there this evening against the Southpaw. Here's the rest of the Southwest batting order for Pat Murphy, the interim skipper of the Padres, taking over for Bud Black. Matt Kemp, Justin Upton, Jed Jerko. Jerko is swinging the bat a little bit better. Clint Barnes is in the 6th spot tonight, playing shortstop. Good to see Barmy as always. Austin Hedges behind the plate. And batting 8th will be Melvin Upton Jr. There's Barmy.
Still a popular figure, still one of the best guys to talk to. You chatted with him, I chatted with him, just came up and just gave you a big hug, said, hey, how you doing?
He's one of the most humble guys you'll ever meet. He's had a great run in the big leagues. And for him, we were talking about Jose with Reyes being able to go to New York and sleep in his own bed. He took a flight Wednesday with his family right after they finished that series against Cincinnati. That's in there for a strike, 1 and 2. And so he got to sleep in his own bed because he still makes his home in Colorado, just north of here.
You'll get any days you can take during the course of a season. Whether it's 3 or 4 days, it feels like a month to you.
Ball just inside. 2-2 on Norris. He's worn the Rockies out this year. 433 average. He has 8 doubles against the Rockies this year.
13 for 30.
Two and two on the former Oakland A.
Starting at first base tonight, 5th start there. He's been a workhorse behind the plate.
A couple of guys they were counting on. Will Middlebrooks just didn't hit. He was sent down El Paso. This is a ground ball that's going to find its way through the right side. So Norris keeps finding holes. And he's aboard with 1 out. That'll bring up Matt Kemp. So Middlebrooks is in the minor leagues. And Will Myers, unfortunately for Will, tremendous talent. But the same thing that occurred when he was with Tampa, he just can't stay on the field.
Such a young, talented player. And that's just been his only issue for interim manager Pat Murphy.
So here's Matt Kemp. And if you're wondering, as so many people have, you know, what happened to the Padres? Man, I loved all the moves they made. I'm talking to some people around the organization. Nobody's had anywhere close to a career year. When a team does well, typically you can point to 1 or 2 guys and say, boy, they had a really special season. Most guys are below their career standard. This ball is lifted to deep center field by Kemp, and, well, the minute I say that, Matt Kemp does what he's done against the Rockies so many times in the past. He hits a 2-run home run to dead center field off of Flande, and it's a quick start for the Padres.
13th home run of the season for Matt Kemp, his 32nd home run against Colorado. It seems like whatever ails Matt Kemp, when he comes here, he just finds the fountain of youth. Oh, Subaru Supermo. He drops that back shoulder to get the lift and elevation on that pitch. Takes it out to dead center over the 415 sign.
Well, another guy with big numbers against the Rockies is Justin Upton. Upton has 20 home runs. That leads the Padres. He's driven in 63. Kemp now is 65 to lead their club. And that's going to be a base hit to right center field. Cargo is going to cut it off, and he'll hold Upton to a single. Here are the Rockies defensively. In the outfield, Brandon Barnes, Charlie Blackmon, Carlos Gonzalez, Nolan Arenado, Jose Reyes, DJ LeMahieu, Ben Paulson, with Nick Hundley doing the catching. So 3 straight hits, single, 2-run home run single, and Jed Jerko will take his turn. Jerko gets away for a moment, and Upton will move up.
That might be a pass ball.
Yeah,
he had to go. He just got his thumb turned the wrong way. He had to turn the thumb up to catch it. He had the thumb down, did Nick.
And Jerko pulls this down the line. Upton will score easily. And Jerko into second with a double. It's 3-0 San Diego. Well, this is not how Flande's been pitching of late. By the way, they scored that a wild pitch, not a pass ball.
Either way, it allowed him to get into scoring position and score easily on the double. 10th of the season by Jed Jerko. The way it came off that wall, he might have had a chance to score, but much easier after that wild pitch.
Well, I like Steve Foster a lot, but it's awful early to see him.
Yeah, you don't want your pitching coach to be going out there 17 pitches in the first inning.
Now, yesterday, the Rockies lost to Noah Syndergaard and the Mets 12-3. But if you missed that game at all in some of the highlights, the Rockies got home runs in the first from Arenado and LeMahieu against Syndergaard. They took a 2-0 lead. 18 pitches later, Eddie Butler had given up 3 runs. He walked Curtis Granderson, and Eddie was sent out today, sent down to Albuquerque. The Rockies made a couple of moves we'll tell you more about. You learned about it, I'm sure, in the pregame show, but we'll cover that once again in a moment. Here's the 1-0 to Barmes. This is popped up down the right field line. Cargo's going to get over there and make the catch. Two outs, Austin Hedges will come up. Here's what the Rockies did prior to the start of the ball game. Eddie Butler, who struggled mightily, optioned to AAA Albuquerque. Boone Logan, who has struggled also, was placed on the 15-day disabled list with left elbow issues. And Gonzalez Germain, who's been up a couple of times, was recalled from Albuquerque, as was the left-hander Ken Roberts.
Well, yesterday for Butler, you mentioned the 3 runs that he gave up in the first inning. Those came on 3 doubles to immediately give that lead back. And then again, the Rockies scored 1 in the 3rd inning, kind of manufactured a run out on the road, turns around and gives up 2 more in the bottom of and those are just backbreakers. Those are the ones that you just said, man, we just got you the lead, and then you can't hold it. So Eddie's going to go down to AAA and try to work on some things.
Well, listen, the stuff is there. I mean, Eddie yesterday on one pitch hit 98 miles an hour. It's not all about velocity. We understand that. The problem is, and Huey, you and I were sitting there not calling the game, watching. You know, you can focus on certain things. I would say half the time, unfortunately for Eddie, he misses location, oftentimes by a significant margin. Hedges lines it to left. Barnes comes on, and he makes the catch to end the inning. More on that in a moment. 3 runs for the Padres on 4 hits in the first, highlighted by a 2-run home run from Matt Kemp. Off, they'll bring a 283 average into the ballpark tonight as we look at the Southwest batting order for Walt Weiss. Southwest Airlines, book your low fare now at southwest.com. Jose Reyes will bat second, Cargo third. Arenado, who homered yesterday, will be in the cleanup spot. Then Ben Paulson. DJ LeMahieu hit a home run straight away in the first inning yesterday. Nick Hundley against his former club, Brandon Barnes. And then Johan Flande against big Tyson Ross out of Cal Berkeley. as Jeff mentioned, an all-star last year. This guy keeps it in the park.
He's only given up 4 home runs. That's right. That's not a misprint. 4 home runs, and 3 of those came in April.
He went, Jeff, I don't know if I've ever seen this before. He went 100+ innings without giving up a home run. 16 starts this year.
The last guy he gave up a home run to was the left-handed hitting Lucas Duda for the New York Mets.
He has never won against the Rockies. He's pitched well at Coors Field, but never gets any run support.
Yeah, 0-5 career, and all 5 of those losses have been here. In 6 games, 4 starts for Tyson Ross. And we didn't see his brother in Washington. His brother's a starting pitcher for the Nats.
And his brother, the day before the Rockies arrived, pitched a gem for the Nationals. His brother Joe.
Maybe not quite as tall as Tyson. Tyson's 6'5", about 230 pounds.
He has the ideal build for a pitcher, and that's spiked in the dirt 3-2.
We'll see a lot of sliders from Tyson Ross. That's where he'll get his ground balls. He'll try to get you to swing and miss with those. Throws it almost 44% of the time.
He's really a 2-pitch pitcher. It's the heavy sinker, averaging 93 miles an hour.
Here comes the slider.
And he missed with it. Tyson Ross, who hasn't been walking a lot of guys, walks Charlie Blackmon. The Coors Light Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light, the game's most refreshing beer. And Jeff was mentioning the fact that he just doesn't give up the long ball. Fewest home runs per 9 innings pitched since 1995. This year, 0.26, matching what Andy Pettitte did for the '97 Yankees.
And if he keeps it there, he's not even in the record books for the Padres, because Randy Jones has the lowest home run percentage, 0.21.
Remember Freddie Kendall used to be a coach with the Rockies and was an early Padre. There goes Charlie, and the throw by Hedges not going to get him, I don't think. Safe. Barnes supplying the tag, but the throw is the shortstop side of the bag. That's stolen base 31 for Charlie Blackmon, who got his 30th yesterday in the 12-3 loss at Citi Field.
And that's the first time a Rocky has had more than 30 stolen bases since leader Willie Taveras had 68 back in 2008. Good jump again from Charlie. Worked so hard on that the last 2 winners to try to get going immediately with the steal.
On the outside corner on Reyes, 1 ball, 1 strike. Carr goes on deck. Rockies want to bust out here. Just 5 runs in that 4-game set in New York. Cargo drove in 3 of the 5. He got Jonathan Neese with a 2-run home run on Monday, and then drove in a run with an RBI ground out yesterday. And Reyes hits this to Upton in center. Let's take a look at the Padres defensively. They've been a middle of the road defensive unit in terms of fielding percentage. Justin Upton, Melvin Upton, the older brother in center field. Matt Kemp is in right. Solarte and veteran Clint Barnes on the left side. Jed Jerko doesn't have great range at second. Derek Norris is a catcher by trade. So let's watch the right side of that infield this evening. And Austin Hedges, former high pick out of Northern California High School, coming into this season the Padres' number 4 overall prospect. That bounces, and Charlie's in trouble. Yeah, that's a tough read, Huey. You want to be aggressive. You see a dirt ball, and typically you're able to move up on a dirt ball, except that ball didn't really leave the general area of where Austin Hedges was.
And when it did, it moved more towards third base. So he spikes the slider, the Subaru Supermo, but where did it go? It went even more to his left, and he finds it and picks it up immediately. Charlie now knows he's in trouble. He also slipped. You try to get that catcher to commit one way or the other, and hopefully you can beat it out, and Charlie didn't.
So 2 outs and a 1-1 count on Cargo. One for 7 lifetime against Ross. The Rockies had the 2 home runs yesterday in the first inning against Syndergaard. They had a little something going in the second with 2 base hits. They never had another hit after the second inning.
He changed the way he was pitching, and it wasn't more fastballs or more slider. He was just then locating. After that first inning, pitches were up. I thought he just didn't have that finish, and then after that second inning, made some minor mechanical adjustments, and he rolled from there. Well, we talked about Tyson Ross and mainly a 2-pitch pitcher. He showed it there, 51% with the fastball. Oh, he threw it away.
He threw it away, and Cargo is going to move to second on the overthrow. And you know what? Give Cargo credit, because he had a comebacker. He went hard the whole way.
Tyson might have a little bit of a thing throwing to first base, because that's his 4th error this season. He knocked this down. That's why so many times now you'll see a pitcher jog it over there, toss it underhand. He just whipped it sidearm, dropped the elbow, and airmailed this to the right field.
Let's see if the Rockies can take advantage. Arenado at the plate. 82 driven in. Nolan hit a couple of home runs on the road trip. He's 3 for 17 lifetime against Ross. Time for the big hit presented by Mako. Turn the car you drive into the car you love. Well, the Rockies got off to a 2-0 start yesterday against Noah Syndergaard. A noontime start. DJ went deep, and then 2 hitters later, Nolan went deep.
And where both of those guys hit home runs, it wasn't a cheapie.
There are no cheapies at Citi Field.
I mean, Nolan's was to left center, and then DJ's more center than right center, but still a long way out there. Watch it. Times on the road trip this happened with Nolan. Guys trying to pitch inside, and then they just release it too late. See how close it was on the Subaru Supermo.
He did exactly what you're taught and you think would be natural. Sometimes doesn't work that way. Get the head turned.
It is not a natural thing, but I think one drill that you can work with kids doing it is you can use tennis balls and just throw them lightly. I mean, you don't fire them at them, but just get them in the habit of turning. I know you might fire them at your kids and say, here,
take the
wear
tennis racket.
that.
Yeah, take the you wear that. Take the tennis racket out so you can hit them even harder.
No, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
3-2.
But that helps with the recognition when the pitch is coming in, how to turn the shoulder and turn the head out of the way.
Cargo at second, 2 outs. Rockies down 3-0. We're in the first. Ross 8-9 this year, despite a very solid 3.39 ERA. His last 3 ball games, his whip is just 1.17.
ERA out on the road lower this year for Tyson Ross than it is at home. He has an ERA of 4.40 at home.
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. You would think it'd have been the other way around.
And Jeff, nothing about any of the numbers with the Padres makes sense this year.
No.
They haven't pitched nearly as well as they did a year ago, or nearly as well as they typically do. When was the last time you looked at a Padre bullpen and didn't say, hey, that's one of the best bullpens in baseball?
Well, we better get to them early, because if we're losing by the 6th inning, it's over.
Nola drives one deep left field. Get up, get out. Gone. 2-run home run. Nolan Arenado, and the Rockies do take advantage against the guy who never gives up home runs. Number 29 for Arenado.
That is just the second home run that Tyson Ross has given up to a right-handed batter on the year.
Well, if you're going to give one up, you might as well give one up to one of the best right-handed hitters in the National League.
Yeah, remember when he came inside and missed with location inside? Nolan got dusted back, fell down. It's the best way to answer those guys. Because he tried to come inside again, pull those hands in close to your body and hit it out. There you go.
Yeah, nothing feels better than that, I'd imagine.
Oh, my goodness, nothing at all.
8-pitch at bat. That was won by Arenado. Ben Paulson with a 1-1 count.
The right elbow. Look at the connection right here with the hands going through.
Barmy with the throw just in time. Still got pretty good arm strength, so Clint Barmas throws out Ben Paulson, but the Rockies take advantage of the error by Tyson Ross to keep the inning alive. And Arenado hits a 2-run home run, 3-2 as we go to the second.
Yes, just use the hashtag FanFriday. All you have to do is tweet us at @RootSports_RM. We'll use stuff from Instagram, from Twitter, from Facebook. And what we want tonight is for you to talk about wiffle ball, because today is National Wiffle Ball Day, August 14th. And National Wiffle Ball Day is a fun day to kind of reminisce about playing wiffle ball. I did as a kid. It was invented in 1953. I'm sure that Drew and Jeff played a lot of wiffle ball. The wiffle ball's got 8 oblong cutouts. These are 3/4 of an inch each. And back in 1961, Whitey Ford had been named the Cy Young winner for the Yankees, who won the World Series. The only time that wiffle ball ever advertised, and you see the prices for the wiffle ball then. And I think you guys know what I'm talking about. So we want to see some people reminisce a little bit. Maybe your kids play wiffle ball today. Hit us up. Hashtag FanFriday.
Hey, Mark, I'm going to try and throw a pitch to Drew here in the booth, but I think I think he's too far away. I mean, I don't know if the camera can get it. Yeah, I mean, here we go. Because you're going to hit it out there.
I'm going to try to hit it on the field.
No, you can't do that. The game's going on.
That would be a good idea.
That would not be a good idea. I could strike you out anyway.
I should hope so. You're 2.5 feet away. think you can get it by me?
Yeah.
Make it move, make it dance.
Oh,
Huey.
I got it right on the little seams there, Mark.
Yeah.
It's all good.
If you
See,
hit-
I
Yeah,
got
yeah,
right
yeah,
here,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then you just snap it at the end. It'll go, and I can throw one to Drew.
I'll bunt.
He's got no
You ready?
chance.
Yeah, I threw it too hard.
Good thing you didn't hit me. We were going to fight.
Is that the best? So, I mean,
Wiffle ball's the
wiffle ball.
best. You know what? Growing up, and
Thanks,
we're,
Sam.
you know, we're the same age. You're actually a little older than me, as I like to point out. But we would play wiffle ball in the backyard, and you had to bat whichever side your team was. I was always, even though I grew up in New York, was a Mets fan, I was always the Cincinnati Reds, the big red machine. So, you know, you had to be Griffey, you got to be Foster, you got to be Bench, you got to be Cesar Geronimo, and it was good. So you kind of perfect that left-handed
Joe
stroke.
Morgan, did you have
Joe
the little
Morgan, you had
chicken
to
wing flap there?
absolutely. You have to do that. You can't
Okay.
get up there and be Joe Morgan and
Without
not do the
do
chicken
that?
flap.
Okay.
It's illegal. You know what I mean? The
It was
trade.
fun. It was fun.
It was a
fun.
blast. Kids don't do that nowadays.
I still throw it. I mean, to Cody, I would throw it to my kids. It's just out in the front yard. We would
The
just
wiffle
mess
ball,
around
yeah.
with
Good
wiffle
for
ball.
you.
Yeah.
I love wiffle ball. We should have a wiffle ball game on the road. This is going to be a problem unless Nolan. So Tyson Ross is going to have an infield hit.
Nothing Nolan could do. I mean, it was just swinging bunt, high chopper, and then when it hits the grass, it becomes real soft. And that came up, and then the hardest thing when that ball is bounding is to try to get it into your fingers, and it just hit too hard.
National Wiffle Ball Day. That's awesome.
That is. What's neat is you can still go to Sports Authority and pick this stuff up.
Yeah.
As a package. You don't need to buy just one or the other. You can buy them together.
DJ's got a long way to go, and he's going to get the force out. Reyes lost the ball on the transfer, so Ross is out at second, and Solarte is at first with 2 outs. You're probably like me. You know how many times on vacations it's harder to bring them. We've brought them before, but you'll just find a local sporting goods store, and you buy your wiffle ball stuff, and you just leave it. You donate it to the next person.
Right, and that's the fun thing about the wiffle ball. You can go out and you can play in a small park.
We'd like to play in the hotel room.
Yeah, the one
Does that surprise you?
Yeah, no, not at all.
If you knock a lamp over, it's a double.
It's a double.
If you break a window, it's a triple. Mark, did you play wiffle ball in the hotel room?
Played it all the time,
Right.
always in the hotel room. This is what I tweeted out. I went to Sports Authority. This was before the season started, and took this picture just to get ready for baseball. This was the display they had. That's what you're talking about, Huey.
And that's what's the fun thing. It doesn't cost a whole lot of money. You can go-
$5.99.
Yeah, you can go out and you can play in the backyard, in the front yard with 3 or 4 kids, and if you hit it over the neighbor's house, that was a home run. You didn't have to worry about breaking a window.
That's a strike.
We also played the other thing, was you had to hit from the opposite side that you normally did.
That's why you got proficient batting lefty. Well,
Yeah,
you were
I was
lefty.
lefty, yeah.
I was right, but you know, it's fun to hit. I'd rather hit lefty in wiffle ball. It's a blast. 1-2 on Norris. Swung on and missed. Blonde strikes out Norris. So we'll go to the bottom of the second. The Rockies trailing the Padres 3-2. Oh, this is when it all first started. Diego leading. Drew Goodman, Jeff Houston, Mark Stout on this Fan Friday. The Rockies left DJ LeMahieu in the second against Tyson Ross, Nick Hundley, Brandon Barnes. And the first pitch is in there for a strike from Ross. Throwing those effortless deliveries. And this ball's hit well right center field, really well, and it is going to carry to the warning track, short hop the wall, and DJ has himself a leadoff double in the second. How about the ball he hit out yesterday, Jeff?
To center field, a little more to right center field. He had a double also in that series over the head of Curtis Granderson. Double tonight, but yesterday, this fastball that he took off of Noah Syndergaard in the first inning, belt high. Juan Lagares thinks, or Cespedes thinks he can climb the wall to get it. And then tonight, even a higher pitch. That is up. He had to see how he had to come up on his tippy toes to get on top of that ball to hit it to right center field.
Well, the Rockies gave the Padres a 3-0 head start. They're a base hit away from tying it up. Nick Hundley at the dish. Nick against the Padres this year has hit .429, and that's not a surprise, is it?
No, we talked about Clint Barmas coming back, playing against the Rockies, living in. You don't think there's a little something extra tonight for Nick and in the series when you're playing the Padres, a team that drafted you and played most of your career with?
And if anybody knows Tyson Ross's stuff, it's Nick Hundley.
There's battery mate.
This is going to get the job done. It's going to move DJ. Barmy gets a little help from Derek Norris on the tag play at first. So DJ at third with one out. Who wants tacos? When the Rockies score 7 or more in any game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Make sure you do it between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special.
Nick did his job by advancing the runner to third base. Less than 2 outs. Now it's up to Brandon to finish it off. And that's what the Rockies did yesterday to get their third run. Charlie was at third base, and Cargo just hit a ground ball to first.
You know, Brandon Barnes in one of those situations. Jeff, at different times in your career, you were in the situation where you played for a while and then all of a sudden became more of a part-time player. With Kyle Parker coming up, taking some of his reps in left field, Barnes hasn't had the steady at-bats that he was getting a little bit earlier, but you know that's who you are as a player. You got to grind through it, find ways to get your timing, even if you're not out there every single day.
So you'll do a couple things. I mean, Brandon's been in this situation before, so it's not unusual to him, but you'll do different things, especially in the cage. If you have somebody that'll throw BP to you, have them get closer, about 5 feet closer, and really fire the ball, because that will more simulate what you're going to get during the game, instead of being back at the normal 45 feet or wherever a BP pitcher will throw from. Say, move up on me. Get to that little league distance.
Kind of like where you're throwing the wiffle ball. To me,
right, I threw it a little too hard. I apologize for it.
A piece of it.
I know you
got around that.
We'll practice.
I got the barrel out at 98.
We'll practice again. The commercial break. Now the Padres have brought their infield in
with the 1-2 count. And Ross gets Barnes to chase. And now they're 2 outs. It'll be left to Johan Flande. First strikeout for Ross. Flande has the ability to bunt both ways. We learned that in New York, and on cue he tried to throw a bunt down. We were talking about him taking a bunt with him. You have a pitcher who's already thrown one up the right field line. You have a catcher at first base.
Might try it again this pitch.
Why not? Here's my thinking. D. Gordon employed this. D. Gordon's an everyday player. He felt like sometimes with 2 strikes, he had a better chance to bunt his way on than if he took a full hack.
Infielders had moved back, so I just need to get it in play.
And with that swing, I'd go bunt again.
I would too. I'd put the ball back in Tyson Ross's hands. No, just say, can he make the throw?
Two and two on Johan Flande. Tyson Ross strikes out Barnes and Flande to leave LeMahieu at third. So we'll go to the third. It remains 3-2 San Diego. Toyota stores, let's go places. By Colorado native, August is Colorado Proud Month. And by Southwest Airlines, book your low fare now at southwest.com. Padres ahead of the Rockies 3-2. A block and a half from Union Station lies Coors Field. Matt Kemp, the 3-hole hitter for the Padres, who had a 2-run home run to dead center field, will face Johan Flande to begin things. Bounces up there. Kemp's always had, I think, his primary power has been straight away.
And he showed it on that swing in the first inning. Pulled down and drove the ball out there.
In there for a strike, 1-1.
I think part of the reason why is where he holds his hands. You know, holding them so high, they'll create a longer arc to get to the baseball.
That's in the middle of the diamond for a base hit as well. So Kemp 2 for 2, and that'll bring up Justin Upton. He singled his first time up. With every challenge called, the Subaru Eyesight Review will determine the outcome. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Justin, a career .300 hitter against the Rockies with 22 home runs. You were talking earlier, Huey, about Tyson Ross having a higher ERA at home, well above 4, at a place everybody loves to pitch, Petco Park. Nobody likes to hit there. Justin Upton this year, he's hitting over .300 at Petco and not so much out on the road.
And I was looking at the same with Clint Marmas. He's hitting higher at home than he is out on the road. Those numbers don't make sense.
They don't jive, do they?
I think Justin has the power anywhere he plays. It didn't get in his head like it has other players.
They're the splits, and he's been not very productive out on the road. Guys will have years like that. Sometimes it just works that way.
You and I were down on the field during batting practice. The Padres come out and I see the Upton brothers playing catch to get loose.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, that was really neat. You grab a ball. Hey, bro, you want to play catch? Melvin, Justin, here you go.
You know what? I got to ask Justin Marr what he calls his brother, because until this year it was BJ in baseball, and I don't. He may have a completely different nickname for his brother. Who knows? But he went back to his given name, Melvin, this year. Maybe some of it, I don't know, was psychological, because he struggled so much the last couple of years after reaching stardom in a Tampa uniform. That's ball 4. So Justin Upton pushes Kemp to second. There's nobody out as we check in with Mark Stout. Mark?
It's a Fan Friday, and we're celebrating National Wiffle Ball Day. Throw me the wiffle ball, Russ. There you go. And we want to show you a picture. This is a tweet that we got from Elizabeth about some leagues around town, adult leagues. But I don't see any action shots, Elizabeth. I got you. You got the red Solo Cups after the game. Let's see some wiffle ball action shots. Use the hashtag Fan Friday. We're having some fun tonight.
I'm not sure what's wrong with that league.
That league, I know about that league. That league has a metal canister at second base, don't they? Kind of big.
Maybe.
That's a good league.
That would be real good league to play in.
The quality of the play drops off after a period of time. Here's the 0-1. Jerko chases. It's 0-2.
I'm at the point in my career I don't care about that. Let's go have some fun.
Boy, I've noticed through the years. Hasn't torn the cover off the ball since being recalled, but he's hit .258 with 5 home runs as Jerko, and this should be a double play ball. Reyes to LeMahieu on the first double play. Well, Justin Upton really got into DJ LeMahieu. Good, hard, clean baseball.
It was good. It's something that you don't see as much anymore. Jose feeds DJ perfectly, pops back off the bag. You see how he just got his spikes up out of the ground. That's all you care about as a middle infielder. Just get him out of the ground. So if he does hit you, you'll fall, but you won't tear a knee up. Your knee's not locked into the ground.
And they both showed respect for one another, both tapped each other after the play, and off you go.
And that's the way it should be. You play the game hard. You go into second base. You're not trying to injure them, but you have to try to take them out.
Guys will wear you out, I'm sure, Huey. If you go in there, veer off or go soft into the guy and make it easy on him to turn the double play, that will not sit well.
It will not. You guys will say, hey, what's going on? Why'd you go in there easy? You see how other guys go into our guys? Do the same.
Vargas takes high, 1-2. Clint a little pop fly to right his first time up. 1-run game. Padres 3 in the first. Rockies got 2 in the bottom of the first on a 2-run home run by Nolan Arenado. Vargas lines it to left center field, but shaded over there is not Barnes. I almost called it Barnes. Vargas to Vargas. 3-2 San Diego.
Bottom 3, 3-2. It's Fan Friday. Use the hashtag Fan Friday. Hit us up at @RootSports_RM. National Wiffle Ball Day. Kyle, he's got it covered. No college dorm room complete without a few wiffle ball bats. Did you guys ever use the electrical tape and tape up the sweet spot?
Didn't everybody?
Right. You know what I mean, Huey?
Yeah, so it doesn't split on you.
Yeah, because you know you're going to connect right here. Come back right at you.
And then, you know, you also probably need to get Corey Dickerson to come out and tape up the handle
Tape the handle for me, too, right? I'm going to make a few sock balls tonight, too. I got everything out here.
Sock balls are great in the hotel room.
Yeah. Right, Drew.
Charlie pops up shallow left field. Justin Upton makes the catch, 1 out. And that'll bring up Jose Reyes. Reyes trying to get his feet underneath him and gain some traction offensively in a Rockies uniform. He's thrown out a hit here and there, but certainly hasn't gotten hot.
No, just 11 for 52.
You watch Jose take batting practice, you look at some of those swings, and it's more like a speed guy type of swing. Yet Jose in his career, he'll hit some home runs here and there.
He has the power to hit the home runs. You got to have the bat speed. Now, most of them are to the pull side, whether he's hitting right-handed or left-handed. A few inside the Parkers.
Good game going tonight. at Citi Field again. The Pirates and Mets tied at 1. It's Bartolo Colon, isn't it, tonight? That's through the left side. Barnes can't get there. A base hit for Jose. Hey, it's time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use the hashtag RMDataStrongFan. And we'll try to get you into an upcoming game broadcast. It's brought to you each night by T-Mobile.
J. Happ against Cologne at Citi Field.
The big series, the Yankees being shut out in Toronto 3-0 in the 7th. Will Toronto ever lose again?
David Price on the hill for Toronto. Nova starting for the Yankees.
Rockies down a run with 1 out. Reyes. They pitch out. Nothing going on. Now between Reyes and his first base coach, Eric Young. That's a whole lot of stolen bases standing over there.
A lot of knowledge about pitching. Their times, various moves.
There goes Jose, and it's pulled to second. 2 outs. So here comes Nolan Arenado. He hit the 2-run home run in the first after the error by Ross allowed Cargo to reach on the 8th pitch of the at-bat. He hammered it to left field and out. Just the 5th home run allowed this year by Tyson Ross, and just the 2nd against a right-handed hitter.
And of his 29 home runs that he's hit, 11 have been here at Coors Field, 18 out on the road.
Head to third is Reyes, and he swipes third. What do you say, Jeff? With 2 outs, you better make sure you're going to be safe. But Reyes has so much experience out there.
He never stopped him at second base. He never stopped the base runner. So Jose just keeps going. He takes off. Easy steal of third.
That's the 17th stolen base this year for Reyes, his 3rd as a Rocky. Two and one. Nolan's going to get his swings off. He's walked just 23 times in 427 at bats.
He also doesn't strike out that many times, considering a guy that's up there as many times as he's been and not walking. You think, oh, the strikeout totals will be real high.
Well, the guys that have hit a bunch of home runs this year, he's like Pujols. He doesn't strike out much.
Pujols, he's in a little bit of a homer drought. 13 games.
That could change in a hurry. Here's the 3-1. And there's the walk. Good job by Nolan not to get too aggressive. And that'll bring up Ben Paulson.
To that home run that Nolan hit in first, it seemed like Tyson really wanted to go after him.
Paulson bounced to deep short his first time up. Reyes at third, the tying run. We're in the bottom of the third. Rockies have been out hit 6-3 so far.
False break by Jose at third. Solarte is a good 25 feet away from the bag. So Jose tried to induce a balk from Tyson Ross. You like it when that third baseman is as far away as he is as a base runner, because you can get off that far.
Hedges picks up the short hop. 2-2 count.
And it also puts more pressure on the catcher to make that block. You can see out of the corner of his eye how far Jose's down. If there's any bobble or it skips away even to just the edge of the grass, chance to score.
There goes Arenado, and no throw. So Nolan with a stolen base, his first of the year.
You know, you don't have to worry about the third to first, take off, glance over the shoulder, and not even a throw by Hedges.
Ball 4. All of a sudden, Ross struggling to consistently throw strikes. Look at Darren Balsley out to the mound. Bases loaded for DJ LeMahieu. League leaders are brought to you by your Colorado Hyundai dealers. Check this out. Batters who have hit .315 or better this year against lefties and righties. It's a small group. Paul Goldschmidt, D. Gordon, Bryce Harper, and DJ LeMahieu. What got us thinking, in recent years, how many Rockies have done that? Have hit above, say, 300 against lefties and righties. Well, back in 2010, Cargo did it. Helton did it a couple times.
Garrett Atkins did it once.
Bases full of Rockies. LeMahieu, right man at the plate. Double his last time up. But the last 5 times it's been accomplished. Cargo was the last to do it in 2010. Garrett Atkins in 2006 along with Matt Holliday, both in that season, and then Todd in both 03 and 04. Enormous gap in left center field. Of course, he doesn't hit it to left or left center very frequently. And the Padres, this is the biggest shift in center field I think I've ever seen.
I would agree.
Look where Melvin Upton Jr. is. And Matt Kemp is about 15 yards from the line. And now he's moving even closer to the line.
They're straight up.
Yeah.
They're straight up, and then here's Upton right there.
2-0 pitch to work with for DJ. That misses. It's 3-0. So all the pressure on 28-year-old Tyson Ross. Even as well as LeMahieu has hit this year, got to take a pitch here. There's a strike.
And you're going to be really careful with this pitch if you're DJ.
Put it in a box.
Put it in, I would even say smaller than that, maybe like a keyhole size. You're trying to put that that's how small your window is right now if you're DJ.
Popped up to right field. Camp waiting. He's got it. And Tyson Ross avoids giving up any runs. The Rockies leave them loaded. 3-2 San Diego. We go to the fourth.
Bit of fun with National Wiffle Ball Day, and we just got this tweet from S. Cravens teaching wiffle ball in Latvia. He hit me back that was in the summer of 2009, and all the girls have a little box of Cracker Jack too. So that is a really cool photo. Use the hashtag Fan Friday here tonight, and you can just hit us up. Instagram, Facebook, photos, anything you've got. Talking about National Wiffle Ball Day. 1953 it was invented in Shelton, Connecticut. And guess what? That's where the plant where they manufacture wiffle ball bats and balls still there today, to this day. Guys?
Shelton, Connecticut, huh?
Yep, Shelton, Connecticut. David Mulaney in his backyard with one of those perforated golf balls just kind of fooling around, went from there.
You can't walk anywhere, by the way, now in Latvia without seeing a wiffle ball game. Every corner.
Not since 2009, right?
Did you notice that Mark had his handle taped on that bat now? Did you see that?
He's working on it, isn't he? He's getting it just right. Got any pine tar on there, Mark?
I'm working on that. We'll get some rosin. Where's Frazier?
Yeah.
We need him around. We can doctor this up a little bit.
Yeah, Frazier will put super balls in the bat. He'll cork it. Austin Hedges at the plate, 1-1. Fouled off by Hedges. You know, a lot of people, I think, around baseball assume that with the disappointing first half, the Padres were going to be equally as busy around the trade deadline as they were around the winter meetings. A.J. Preller, their general manager. And from all indications, they fielded a lot of phone calls, but never got the kind of deals they were looking for whatever players they were going to make available. And that's why the Padres did very little at the trade deadline. People said, man, I'm shocked they didn't do it. You got to be pleased with what you're getting in return before you make a deal.
Well, and you also have to look at, maybe they think these are the guys, they just need more time to gel. Because you change over the roster, you do as much as they did in the winter meetings. I mean, that was as big a winter meetings as I've seen with one team in a long, long time.
Especially the names that you were talking about. And it didn't end there. Of course, they picked up Craig Kimbrell right before the start of the season. Blonde misses there. It's 2-2 on Hedges. That looks like a good pitch. It is. Strike 3 on Hedges, and that's the second strikeout for Flande.
Upper quadrant inside on the 4th strike zone. Hedges thought it was in. With the jump back, Nick framing it, holding it for Lance Barrett.
And Melvin Upton fouls it off. He grounded to short his first time up.
Upton also was in the trade with Craig Kimbrell, coming over from Atlanta.
And he's got a base hit to left. That'll bring up Tyson Ross with 1 out. He'll be trying to bunt, one would assume. So here's the state of the Padres. Last year, through 115 games, they had 53 wins. This year, they have 54. That was not the intent, obviously, to improve by 1 game. It's really been strange. Their offense is better. They're averaging, almost, not quite, but close to a full run better than they did a year ago. However, their pitching, their vaunted pitching, especially at Petco, has gone the other direction, especially in the bullpen.
And that's always been the strength for the Padres, as long as I can remember. It has been their bullpen. They've always had the lockdown, and this year it's over a run more per game. Now, the number on the 2014, that's through the whole season, but you have to look at it and you figure you're 115 games into this now, that it's going to stay pretty well in the same area.
That's a large body of work.
Yes, it is.
I think we can draw some conclusions after 115 games.
I think we can. The Padres are just 1 game better than they were last year.
Yeah, and even the offensive numbers, because they were so poor last year offensively, historically bad. Last year, their batting average was 30th in baseball. This year, it's 29th. Here's the bunt by Ross. Flande will have to go to DJ. So 2 outs, and Melvin Upton is in scoring position after the sac bunt. On base percentage, 295 this year, dead last in baseball. Last year was 292, dead last in baseball. It's not really much different, despite a lot of household names that are now Padres in terms of position players. Their OPS, which is a big one for a lot of people who follow the game. That's on base percentage plus slugging percentage. OPS 668, last in baseball. Last year was 634, last in baseball. So despite the additions of the Upton brothers and Matt Kemp, Will Middlebrooks, who's now down in El Paso, Will Myers, who's only played a relative handful of games, this offense is not really appreciably better than it was a year ago.
I'm looking at Matt Kemp's on base percentage, 304. Derek Norris, 286. Justin Upton, 333. So, I mean, that tells you why their on-base percentage is so low, because these are middle-of-the-order guys.
Yeah, Derek Norris has had his moments. 12 home runs. He's driven in 52. He's hitting 240. But they had Yasmani Grandal, and Yasmani Grandal's had quite a season offensively for the Dodgers. It's easy to Monday morning quarterback any deals. I was a big fan of the deals that the Padres made. On paper, it looked really good. It has not played out as that. And that's a good pitch by Flande, as that will end the top of the 4th inning. Padres leading by a run. Hundley will lead it off. 50. It's not just a truck, it's the future of tough. By Southwest Airlines, book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by CenturyLink, you are linked to what's next. Warm, pleasant Friday evening in the Denver metropolitan area. The Rockies will be home for the next 10 days. They'll play 3 against these Padres, 3 against the Nationals, 3 against the Mets. And that pitch misses ball 1 from Tyson Ross. Nick Hundley bounced to short, but he hit it up the middle enough to move DJ LeMahieu to third after a leadoff double. This is to deep right, and it's going to go off the wall, and Kemp has a long run. Hundley should get 3 out of this, and he will easily. That was honestly a situation where Jed Jerko doesn't know this park as well as a guy who plays here every day. We've seen that before. The second baseman has to run all the way out there just in case that exact thing happens.
Kind of like Fenway in the Green Monster, where the shortstop has to go out. If the outfielder gets too close to the wall, the shortstop might be the closer guy. Here, the second baseman is closer to getting this baseball. See how hard Matt Kemp has to run after it. Jerko got caught just hanging right around the cutoff area in short and second, or excuse me, between second and the outfield.
Chance for Brandon Barnes to redeem himself. He had an at-bat with 1 out and a runner at third in the second inning and struck out. He chased a pitch out of the zone. There's nobody out here. The Padres bring the infield in. And again, this is another big at-bat because Blande's on deck. You don't want it to come down to 2 outs and Hundley still standing next to Stu Cole.
No, but Brandon wants a chance to redeem himself after what happened that first time up, and we saw some of the swings that Johan had on the slider against Tyson Ross.
He chased a little bit. Chased a slider 2-0.
That is the pitch that has been getting Brandon in this during the slump he's in. You know it as a hitter. You're telling yourself, don't hit that. Don't try to swing at that slider away from me. Don't look down and away, and then you still swing. It's frustrating for the guy in the box.
Got a fastball there, and he fouled that off. 95-mile-an-hour fastball. It's 2-2. For his last 21 at the plate. Tyson Ross again throws that slider about 44% of the time.
And he throws it hard, 87 to 88 miles an hour. Only about 5-6 miles an hour off what he throws his fastball.
He left that, yeah, he left that in the middle of the plate.
That's the one he would like to have back. Flat slider, backs up, and you know it. Just hoping for another pitch like that.
Easy ball to lift also.
Easy. Anything that's up and semi away from you, easiest ball to get in the air.
He's good. He held up on that. 3-2.
Spread out and use the hands, Brandon.
Would you ever choke up? You know, people say 2 strikes, choke up in the old days. But you know what I mean. Back in the past, guys did that a little bit more.
Yeah, I would do it, but that's the type of hitter I was. I wasn't swinging for the fence type of hitter. So I think you have to look at each individual and what they feel comfortable with. You don't see it as much anymore as you used to.
This will get the job done. Deep right field. And a good at bat for Brandon Barnes. That will tie up the game as Hundley comes home. And that was a quality at bat for Brandon Barnes. And sometimes that's all it takes to get yourself going.
Exactly. You've seen some pitches. You laid off a tough 2-2 slider that you checked your swing. Then you get a fastball. You hit it away. Just feel like the world's been lifted off your shoulders.
So the Rockies back to even par after giving up 3 in the first inning. Johan Flande with a 1-strike count. Some guys, I think, don't like, Huey, have you heard this, don't like when they choke up the bat, obviously the handle gets a little thicker, it doesn't feel right in your hands.
The same. Does not feel the same. So they won't do that. Because some guys like the feel of the knob that's in the palm of their hand. You start to go up more on the bat, then it just doesn't feel right. It feels more like a toothpick, trying to hold the toothpick in your hand.
1-2 on Flande. A lot of pitches for Ross tonight. A lot of deep counts. He's approaching 80 pitches here with 1 out in the 4th inning.
Season high for Ross, and he's done it twice, is 115.
That's what we were trying to get him to do last time.
Well, he must have heard because he tried it. Hey, don't forget the Rockies and the Baseball Tomorrow Fund will be holding their annual baseball equipment drive prior to the game tomorrow against these same San Diego Padres. New and used equipment can be dropped off at all gates. Proceeds benefit the baseball programs at Denver Public Schools. Donations accepted at all gates. The Baseball Tomorrow Fund.
Charlie, a walk and a fly ball to left field. One and 2 on Blackman. Rockies facing all that high-quality pitching in Washington and New York. Their on-base percentage in August was .279, which, if it were to stay there for the whole month, there's plenty of baseball left in the month, there's a base hit, it would be the lowest on-base percentage in a single month in the history of the franchise. I don't think it's going to stay there.
Not with 9 games here at home. Out of the next 10 days. It just feels nice to be back home where you have a stretch like the Rockies are going to have, because they just got done with the stretch of 16 out of the last 25 out on the road. Feel like you can unpack your suitcase,
right?
Kind of lay it, get some laundry done, put them away before you have to repack.
Jose Reyes bounced one through the left side his last time up. Jose's 1 for 2. Rockies trying to get something going here with 2 outs after tying the game on the sac fly by Brandon Barnes. Nick Hundley in the inning, a leadoff triple off the scoreboard in right. They're in extra innings at Flushing Meadows. In the 10th, it's 1-1. Hurdles Pirates. It's Terry Collins Mets. Great opportunity to run for Charlie with 2 outs, because the downside is not that painful. Reyes would just lead off the next inning. So Jerko throws out Jose Reyes. In the inning, the Rockies get even on, again, the sac fly by Brandon Barnes.
So we go to the top of the 5th inning. It's National Wiffle Ball Day, and we're celebrating. Here's a really cool picture. You know Dave Frazier, the weather guy in town? This was July 4th weekend. Telluride, little pickup game up there. And Brandon Barnes, he played a lot of wiffle ball growing up in Anaheim.
I just remember the cul-de-sac. We had a cul-de-sac that we had a big wall, and on the other side was the street, like 4-lane street where cars are going. And when there was a little opening in the wall so we can go get our balls if there's nobody in the street. But I remember we had 2 big trees that were foul lines. We just got after it.
Everybody had their configuration, and that's what Brandon Barnes did when he was a kid out in Anaheim. He had the 2 big trees down each line for the foul lines.
I can see Brandon also maybe paint some lines. Uh-oh.
Deep left, Brandon hoping for a play. Could not quite bring that back. That was a home run on his cul-de-sac as well. 4-3. Padres go out in front on the Derek Norris home run, his 13th. He continues to hit well against the Rockies in 2015.
Make it 15 for 33 against Colorado. 13th home run of the season. Sure it was going to have enough legs to get out. Brandon tried to time it going back to the wall. I mean, he had his eyes on this the whole way, using that fence as some leverage. Just couldn't get up high enough on the Subaru Supermo, and then knocked it back a couple feet once he landed.
Kemp on 3 hops to Reyes. 1 out. Justin Upton coming up.
Brandon going all out for this. Just ran out of real estate.
Upton a single and a walk. Padres leading 4-3 in the 5th. Drissimer Despagne is throwing Padres bullpen. Nolan double crow hop, 2 outs.
And then a laser to first.
There's Despagne.
Sometimes starter Despagne, 17 starts out of 23 games.
Gonzalez Germain, who just came back to the big leagues today. Jed Jerko, an RBI double in the first. He grounded into a 6-4-3 his last time up. Rockies have done well against the Padres the last few years at Coors Field, 16-7. Good pitch.
We've said it before about Flande. He doesn't have the stuff of some of the other guys. He doesn't have the stuff of Eddie Butler. But he goes out. I know he's given up 4 runs tonight, but he'll battle you. He'll figure out a way. I mean, he'll cut that fastball in, throw a slider, and change up.
Yeah, I think sometimes people think, oh, Flande, because he throws so many changeups, that he's the proverbial soft-tossed lefty. He averages 91 on his fastball, so he has plenty of arm strength.
Just about major league average. Some will say 92 is major league average.
This is going to be a tough play. DJ, did he get him? You bet. What a play by DJ. I didn't think as slowly as that was hit with the English on the baseball, he'd be able to get there and throw out Jerko. He did by a quarter step. Nice job, LeMahieu. In the inning, a home run from Derek Norris, and the Padres back out in front 4-3. Middle of inning number 5. Things off here in the 5th inning. 0 for 2 tonight against Tyson Ross, and he takes strike 1. He did reach on a comebacker of all things in the 1st inning. It was a big play in this game. He busted it up the line, and Tyson Ross threw it away. Nolan Arenado followed up with a 2-run home run.
That's why you don't take anything for granted.
No, it would have been the 3rd out. So both of those runs unearned, but it's a huge momentum swing for the Rockies, down 3-0 at that point. 1-2. Cargo trying to work his way back into the lineup, back into the count. He's in the lineup. He's going to stay in the lineup.
You threw me there for a minute.
Yeah.
I got to be honest with you. What? Did I miss something?
Trying to work his way back into the count. He was down 0-2. Now 1-2. Slugging .800 in the second half. Just looking at his zones, the 9 quadrants, Inside, low, middle, up, middle, 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 etc. Away, away, away. Every quadrant away from him, he hits way above the league average.
His arms extended, can hit it out to left center field, can pull a breaking pitch even if it's away from him. Pull a fastball if it's away from him.
Cargo trying to reach here with the Rockies down by a run. And once again, Tyson Ross able to beat Cargo. So Cargo's 0 for 3, 0 for his last 15. And that'll bring up Nolan Arenado.
Just a reminder, tomorrow is Yoga Day, and it's back for the 2015 season. Purchase the Yoga Day ticket package to receive exclusive pregame field access for the hour-long yoga session and a Rockies-themed promotional item. So tomorrow is Yoga Day before the game, but you have to have a special ticket.
Are you teaching that class?
No. They wouldn't get much out of it if I was teaching the yoga class. We would sit on the mat for an hour. It'd be like nap time.
I'll show up for that class. 1-1. Arenado a 2-run home run in the first, walked and stole his first base of the year in the third. Rockies loaded the bases in the third. DJ was at the plate with a 3-0 count. And then on a 3-1 pitch, he had a high fly ball to right. Rockies have had base runners in every inning against Ross. 2-2.
A bit of an Adrian Beltre swing on that. Drop the knee, the back knee. Ends up on the ground.
And Arenado goes down. So that's 5 strikeouts for Ross.
Heavy sink from Tyson Ross. That ball started about belt high and ended up down by his knees and inside under the hands.
He really, because he stays so tall, he throws that he creates that arm, that angle that complemented with the 2-seamer. He gets a ton of ground balls. He gets one again there from Ben Paulson. It's his first 1-2-3 inning. To the 6th we go. 4-3 San Diego.
Studios, including Cargo, DJ, and Ben Paulson, and they had a little wiffle ball home run derby contest. And Eric Burns was involved too, former Rocky briefly. Cargo used that pink bat, so I asked him, it's called a wiffle ball because you whip at it, how difficult it was to hit the wiffle ball.
Oh, harder than people think, When you used to play baseball, you feel that when you hit the ball, you feel the weight on the ball, the velocity. When that thing is coming at you, it's just, dancing everywhere. And when you hit it, you don't feel anything. It's like you're swinging and miss.
Although he did use that big pink bat guy, purple bat, so he got some good wood on his wiffle ball hitting. But it dances. It's all over the joint.
That was like a Barney bat.
It was.
The barrel is like
giant.
3 feet in circumference. Clint Barmas at the plate.
Didn't you have the big red one for your
big
kids?
Red, yeah, when they're little, you got to have the big red bat.
You have to have the big red bat.
Jumbo barrel.
Perfect.
Barmas lifts this ball to deep left field. Barnes hoping for a play, will have one right at the wall.
Well, that time he didn't have to jump. It was more in the gap than the home run by Norris. Brandon does exactly what you're taught as an outfielder. Feel for the wall. Stick that hand out. And then I think he was waving at the end to somebody in the stands. I got it.
1 out, Austin Hedges, a line out and a strikeout for Hedges. Hedges will turn 23 in a few days. Two-strike count. Got him to chase that changeup. Flande with his 4th strikeout. Second time he's gotten Hedges.
Turn the changeup over. Circle change. It's Hedges out in front on the Subaru Supermo. Time a player really leans his body over and takes that top hand off. He's trying to create more length with the bat.
On the corner to Melvin Upton Jr. 1 for 2. Singled through the 5.5 hole his last time up. Center field, and Blackman is there. Good solid inning. 1, 2, 3. In fact, 6 in a row set down by Flande now. Rockies trailing by a run in the 6th. Padres got 3 in the first against Johan Flande. Matt Kemp hit a 2-run home run in that initial frame, but the Rockies got 2 back in the bottom of the first on a 2-run home run by Nolan Arenado. Derek Norris' solo home run right now, the difference in the game. It's 4-3 San Diego with Jeff Houston and Mark Stott, Drew Goodman on a Friday night in Coors Field. The Rockies opening up a 9-game homestand. DJ LeMahieu against Tyson Ross, who's never defeated the Rockies. He's 0-5. LeMahieu, Hundley, and Barnes here in the 6th inning. And DJ drives this to right, and it's going to run to the corner. LeMahieu's going to have another extra base hit. His second double of the ball game. He is something else. He really is.
Yeah, you kind of start to run out of words and describe the season he's having and the power that he can generate to the opposite field. But the one thing for DJ, most of the time, if he's got a mistake pitch, he's made the pitcher pay, and he did here. Kemp thought he had an angle on it, and it was too hard for him. It skips by him. And that'll bring out Pat Murphy, interim manager for the Padres. I say interim, he's had that tag for a while since they fired Buddy Bell, but they still have that tag on Pat.
So after the leadoff double by LeMahieu in the 6th inning, Ross is gone. 4-3 San Diego. By Office Liquidators, offering Colorado's largest selection and lowest prices for new, used, and refurbished office furniture. And by Dollar Shave Club, shave time, shave money. Rockies with a leadoff double, down by a run in the 6th inning. LeMahieu standing at second. Nick Hundley, when we resume, will be at the plate. After 101 pitches, Tyson Ross is gone. And the former Oriole and Houston Astro, mostly a starting pitcher, Bud Norris, who was just picked up a few days ago after he was let go by Baltimore. It'll be Norris on the hill here in the 6th.
Released back on August 8th. First appearance for the Padres was against the Reds. At 11 starts, 18 games for the Orioles. He was 2-9 with a 7.06 ERA. That'll get you released.
That'll get you released.
Ball has 2 ways to play this. I think in this inning, you know you're going to pinch hit for Flande. You have a leadoff double. You can bunt him over or say, Nick, I'll use your judgment. Do you think you can get it over and hit it to the right side to get that runner to third base? Third baseman Solarte's playing deep at third. He doesn't think he's going to bunt.
Well, Hundley knows Norris having caught him last year. And this is bounced to short. Barmes gave a cursory glance, but a good jump by LeMahieu.
Great jump from DJ.
Ball at you, or certainly behind you, you can go.
And this is what happened in the second inning with the leadoff double by DJ. You get the ground ball from Nick. Same thing. Ball beats you, or you beat the ball, excuse me. Even if Clint thinks he's going to have a chance, the angle that he had to throw to third wasn't an easy one, so he elected for the out.
Brandon Barnes at the plate. Chance for Brandon to get home the equalizer, as he did in the fourth inning with a sac fly. Shortened up as if the squeeze was on. It was in there for a strike. Nick Hundley tonight is officially 1 for 3. You open up the if the game would end right now, the box score would say Nick's 1 for 3. He had a triple in the fourth inning and scored a run. He has 3 team at bats, 3 high quality at bats where he did his job. So from that standpoint, the manager says Nick Hundley's had a perfect night.
He's done everything that you needed him to do. He's moved the runner over with no outs, the leadoff double both times in the second and now again in the sixth. I just wish they had a stat for that.
Sure. I mean, because you hate losing a point or 2 on your average this
you
time
do,
of year.
but that's how you play for those runs and try to play winning baseball.
And Brandon hits the ball plenty deep enough again to get a run home.
He dropped
Nobody went to catch the baseball. Barnes around second. He's going to end up at third. Safe there. It'll go as a triple, and it's a 4-4 game. I mean, that was really strange, because sometimes you'll see a miscommunication, but usually guys are close to the ball. Neither Kemp or Upton were within 20 feet of the baseball.
That was so weird, because, yeah, it'll make you scratch your head if you're the manager. I mean, Matt Kemp's thinking, I'm sure he's thinking that Upton's going to catch it. The sky is not of the dusk sky where you're going to lose the baseball. That's just somebody not taking charge.
That snapped an 0 for 22. Brandon Barnes will take it, because he was going to get a sac fly out of it anyhow. He's tied up the game as second RBI, and Matt McBride can give the Rockies a lead. Pinch hitting for Flande here in the sixth. That was really bizarre. You know, it's funny, because we're right behind home plate. We're watching the angle of the baseball, and Huey, I don't know if you were doing the same thing I was. I was like, who's going to catch that?
I was just saying, okay, that's deep enough. I know it's deep enough. It's going to score the run, but who's going to get the put out?
This is going to go out of play. 2 strikes on McBride.
And kudos to Brandon for hustling and getting a triple out of that. You could have, said, oh, great, I got my sac fly. All right, I'm at first base. Okay, they'll catch it, I'll go back. No, he hustled the whole way.
So many guys have said it. It's not hard to run hard 4 times in a game. That's typically the number of at-bats you get. One and 2 on McBride. This is going to be an easy play for Solarte. 2 outs.
Talk about Brandon running hard. He's running hard when he hits first base, and then he never stops until the head first slide at third. Nick knows.
Well, Nick, off the bat, Nick goes, okay, man, he got to run it.
Yes.
If Blackman can come up with a 2-out hit to bring home Barnes and fully take advantage of the miscommunication in the Padre outfield. 4-4. Bottom of 6. Charlie tonight, walk, a fly out, and a single. Called strike by Lance Barrett, 1-1. To get it about 6 inches higher. In the inning, the Rockies tie it up. We'll go to the 7th in a 4-4 ball game.
And Friday, there's the yellow foul pole. This is the yellow wiffle ball bat that you get, the original wiffle ball bat, 32 inches. And we were talking about Cargo playing with that purple kind of Barney bat. Well, Jordan Ruiz tweeted this in: when you forget the tape and you hit dingers, yeah, you break the red bat that Drew was talking about, right? The big guy. And that's what happened. So we have a little bit of time for a few more pictures, so we'll get those on here. It's National Wiffle Ball Day, Huey, and it's also Wyoming Day at the ballpark, so I know you're happy about that.
Yeah, I think two of my favorites. You get wiffle ball and Wyoming Day.
So you were talking about that, Drew. There it is.
Every man a cowboy.
See? Here we go. Get the special cowboy hat with the steamboat on the back, with the CR on the front.
Pretty cool.
I just forgot I left mine at home, Mark. Got one already.
We have a ton of fans, seriously, a ton of Rockies fans, some season ticket holders up in Cheyenne and Laramie and even north of there. Ken Roberts just called back to the big leagues today. He's on the hill here in the 7th, and Will Venable's going to pinch hit in the pitcher spot. And you're saying, well, why is Pat Murphy putting up a lefty against a lefty? Everybody he's got now on his bench are left-handed. Now, Marista, Spangenberg, who was just brought back, Venable, Alonso, and Wallace, all left-handed bats. Fouled off by the new daddy, Will Venable. His wife gave birth to a baby girl a few days ago.
A friend of our own, Jenny and Steve Spurgeon.
Yeah.
Kavnar.
And it bounced through the vacant spot on the left side. Rockies had the shift on. So a leadoff single by Venable. The numbers on Ken Roberts, 9th ball game he's appeared in with the Rockies.
Well, he originally came back up from Albuquerque the first time on May 2nd, but then went on the DL the end of May with left elbow inflammation. I recall today when Boone Logan was put on the DL with inflammation in his left elbow.
Yangervis Solarte 0 for 3. Lays down a bunt, and that was not a good bunt. Safe at first. Rockies almost turned that over. 1-6-4. So Solarte at first.
This was the call. Just listen to this call from Nick. So as Ken's going to that ball, he's hearing Nick's call 2-2-2, so he's already set up for the throw to second base. That was the key to get that lead runner, Venable.
So Roberts faces a couple of hitters now with some right-handed big bats coming up. It'll be Rafael Betancourt's time.
On your out-of-market fantasy players, live or on demand on over 400 devices, so you don't miss a game or miss any of the action. Well, speaking of action, it's the top of the 7th, 4-4 here at Coors Field. Runner on first, right-handed bat, so that means you bring in Rafael Betancourt. For Rafi, his 42nd game this year. Last couple games, he's gotten back to painting the corners again, what he did early in the season. Went up against Derek Norris, who hit a home run back in the 5th inning.
Derek Norris 2 for 3. Singled and scored in the first. He came around on the Kemp home run and then hit that home run Jeff alluded to in the 5th inning. Get a ground ball. His double play candidate. Strike 1 from Rafael Betancourt. $15 for 33 this year against the Rockies. Really all year, Rafi's been one of the most reliable guys Walt can call on in that pen. Quickly a 2-strike count on Norris. Rafi takes this off the plate a little bit more.
That's what he should do to Norris.
One and two. Norris made the All-Star team last year with Oakland.
What is it about catchers in Oakland in All-Star games?
Stephen Vogt. Out of Goddard, Kansas, and had he not signed out of high school, he was going to go to Wichita State, which is not a big surprise. I mean, Wichita State has always owned that Midwestern region.
All started with Gene Stevenson, a longtime coach at Wichita State.
A lot of success, put a lot of guys in the big leagues. Swung on and missed. Good pitch, off speed pitch, that curveball that Rafi will throw occasionally, and he gets Derek Norris. 2 outs.
He just came back after Tommy John surgery with this curveball. Before the surgery, wouldn't throw it much.
Nope.
With the stress on the elbow, but now, as you talked about in a broadcast a few nights ago, the elbow feels as good as it has in 4 or 5 years.
Yep. It's pain-free. Solarte, not a stolen base threat. He remains at first in a 4-4 game. Matt Kemp, 2-run home run single and a ground ball to short. Fastball, foul tip at 92. Kemp's always been a better second half player than first half.
Rafi has had the edge against Kemp in his career. Kemp just 1 for 13 facing Rafi.
Looked like he picked that up real well. The curveball, it's 0-2.
With that on that one, throw him another one.
Kemp will turn 31 in the final 10 days of the season. For the shoulder issues he had a couple years ago after running into the wall against the Rockies.
He slammed into the wall.
Tried to play through it, but ended up on the DL a couple of times. Didn't complain about it, but it definitely, to those who were close to the Dodgers at the time, it really affected him and his swing.
Well, as hard as he hit that wall and the damage that it did, you can see why. Because it doesn't matter whether it's your pole shoulder coming through or your top hand. You just have to cut your swing off because you don't want that pain. And so you change your swing and your mechanics.
Fastball away. 0-2 on Kemp. For Nick Huntley or Mike McHenry, catching Rafi has to be a real joy because where he sets up as a catcher, Betancourt's going to hit his target 95% of the time.
It's like sitting in a rocking chair.
Not going to reach back and have a 2-foot miss. Breaking ball, 1-2. outside, 2-2. Boisterous Friday night crowd, 33,697 at Coors Field this evening. Rockies trailed 3-0 early, and they tied it at 3. In the 4th inning, fell behind 4-3, tied it last half inning. Kemp lines this to center field and deep. Blackman going back, can't get it. And around third is Solarte. He's going to score on a run-scoring double by Matt Kemp. It's 5-4. All 3 of Kemp's hits in this ball game straight away.
Never went back to that curveball to Kemp. Just as we were talking about not missing location for Raffy, he did on that pitch. That froze Charlie in center field. Hardest ball to read for a center fielder is that one right off the bat to you. You don't get the angle.
He had one of those in New York yesterday.
Yes, he did.
Justin Upton.
Excuse me, that's 3 RBIs tonight for Matt Kemp.
Yankees came back tonight and beat Toronto 4-3. We're down 3-0.
We got a home run by Carlos Beltran, 3-run shot.
Pirates edged the Mets 3-2 in extra innings. Well, the New York Post will have a field day tomorrow. Armageddon.
Just the headlines on the back page of the Post are always fun.
Rockies are going to go ahead and pass on Upton with first base open and pitch to the less celebrated Jed Jerko. Jerko, a double in the first to drive in a run. 1 for 3. Hit a slow roller towards second that DJ made a really fine play on last time up. Outside. So before the at-bat started, after the intentional pass with runners at first and second, you'll see this in every big league game. Nick Hundley went out in front of the plate, went through a battery of signals to tell his infielders where he was going to go on a double steal. What is he based that decision on, Jeff?
Who the lead runner is, and also the trail runner. I mean, you have Kemp at decent speed, 9 for 10 in stolen bases. You got Upton, who's got very good speed still at first base. So you tell the infielders, so one, that say if I'm going to throw to third, that the second baseman doesn't move and be out of position. But with Kemp, and he's got a very small lead at second, I would assume they're going to throw the ball to third. Because Upton at first is a good 20 feet off the bag. So you can creep off because Ben's playing so deep. And rightfully so. I had 2 outs.
1 and 2 on Jerko, product of West Virginia.
Jerko had that phenomenal rookie season, and then they gave him a pretty good contract.
Gave him a really good contract. Good for him. Unfortunately, he has not been able to come close to replicating what he did a couple of years ago. This ball's fouled off. The last couple of seasons he's been sent down to try to get his swing together. Barmes hoping for an opportunity. A run in, 5-4 San Diego. They've out hit the Rockies 10-7. Top of 7, 2 outs, 2 on. And that's going to even the count at 2-2. Fly ball to deep center field. Blackman hoping for a play, doesn't happen. That ball just kept on carrying, and now the Rockies have a huge deficit. Jed Jerko with his 8th home run of the year, a 3-run shot in the 7th. He has a 4 RBI night, and it's 8-4 San Diego. Boy, off the bat, I didn't think that was going to get out.
I didn't either, but fortunately, all of these runs have come with 2 outs. After the strikeout of Derek Norris. He keeps looking up, looking up. And Jed Jerko. Yeah, he got out by a good 5-7 feet.
Barmes nearly hit one out his last time up. Barnes made the catch at the wall. This is fouled off.
Goes to show you, you don't make one pitch because you had Matt Kemp 0-2. You couldn't make that final pitch to get him. And then it was a double, intentional walk, home run.
Shallow center field. Here comes Blackman. Will make that catch. That ends the inning finally. 4 runs for the Padres at the top of the 7th. 3-run shot by Jerko. It's 8-4. In the first inning, hit a 2-run home run, his 13th of the year. Padres would score another run in that inning. It was 3-0, but then Nolan Arenado hit a 2-run home run against the guy who rarely gives them up, Tyson Ross. 3-2 at that point. It was 4-3, or excuse me, it was 3-3 when Derek Norris went deep to make it 4-3 San Diego. And the Rockies got even, and then a moment ago, the 3-run home run by Jed Jerko. 8-4 our scores. The Rockies have 9 outs to work with offensively. And the new pitcher is Mark Zepchinski, the only left-handed reliever for the Padres. He's got Reyes, Gonzalez, and we'll see if he faces Nolan Arenado.
Some people might remember Mark from his days in St. Louis, but recently he was with Cleveland, came over at the trading deadline for outfielder Abraham Almonte.
Some changes to tell you about. Yonder Alonso defensively goes in at first. Derek Norris goes behind the plate. So Austin Hedges comes out. There's Yonder. Reyes 1 for 3, a single back in the third. 0-2 count. One and two. With 7 hits tonight, that matches their total from their last 2 games.
There are 3 against DeGrom and then 4 yesterday.
First 2 innings. Rockies had 2 games on that road trip where they went hitless in their final 17 at bats.
There's a Strasburg game on Saturday night in Washington, and Tuesday night against DeGrom.
Solarte will throw out Reyes, 1 out.
I should say Wednesday night against DeGrom.
The day after every Rockies victory, get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. The promo code's ROCKSWIN at papajohns.com. Carlos Gonzalez 0 for 3. Trying to snap an 0 for 15. There's Mark Zepchinski here. Sean Kelly's up for the Padres. Cargo takes a ball. Gonzalez, German up for the 2nd time.
He's back in the 5th inning.
And there's a base hit for Cargo. Stayed right on that.
You want to be at Coors Field when the Washington Nationals come to town this Tuesday through Thursday. Get your tickets today. But you only look at Bryce Harper coming into Coors Field.
Pat Murphy's up. He's going to go bring in the right-hander to face Arenado. 1 out, 1 on. Rockies trailing 8-4 in the bottom of the 7th inning. Their return to Coors Field. Back to Coors Field in a moment. Mobiles, here we have it stored tonight. That's a cute one. I like that one. He's our T-Mobile Data Strong fan of the game. Sean Kelly's been one of the better bullpen pitchers for the Padres this year. In fact, since mid-May, he's been really difficult to hit. Right-handed hitters just 6 for their last 36.
And a whip at just .77. 4 walks, 21 hits, and 32 2/3. But a different pitcher than what you are seeing now out of Major League bullpens. He's a slider, fastball, and for a slider, 83, 84 miles an hour. His fastball just at 92 on average. But not one of those flamethrowers.
One ball, one strike. Cargo at first, a base hit. Kelly with the Yankees last year. He slowly hit, and with the bare hand, the throw is way off base, up the line. Cargo around third. He's going to score easily. Going to second base is Arenado. Is it necessary for Solarte to play that with the bare hand?
I didn't think so, but he decided to do it. Thought he could create a better angle coming in and getting it with this glove and making the transfer. See where he was also when he fielded that? He was about 88 feet away from home and then just airmailed it down the line.
Give Arenado an infield hit, and then obviously an error allowing him to move to second and ultimately Cargo to score. No RBI.
6th or 7th there of the season on Solarte.
That'll bring up Ben Paulson. Third base, Dan Iasani said that it was a swing, so it's 1-1 on, excuse me, it's 0-2 on Paulson.
It's about the time that Ben comes through with one of those late inning hits in RBI.
It's his time of night, isn't it? Rockies down 8-5. LeMahieu's on deck. Sean Kelly, the former Seattle Mariner, on the hill. A strikeout of Paulson, 2 outs. DJ's had another big ball game, a pair of doubles tonight. He has scored a run, 2 for 3.
DJ with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Pretty gaudy number at 362.
enough to get it all back in one inning. It's the seventh inning, 6-7 outs to work with. LeMahieu with Arenado at second, 8-5 San Diego. Pulled hard to Solarte, caught it in the air, barely. He was shocked. He goes, wait a second, LeMahieu comes over here about once a month. Rockies get one run back. It's 8-5.
Fan Friday, National Wiffle Ball Day, and I want to show you a couple of more photos as we wrap things up. This is one. Nope, the snow can't stop the wiffle ball. That's from Stacy Newman. Outside, play whenever you want. Corey Sullivan said they do it on Thanksgiving Day. It's a tradition at his house. And the last one is from the crew of Complete Game Ministries. They had a all-nighter, 100 kids playing 7-7 in a little MLB playoff style tournament. That probably was a lot of fun. So thanks everybody who participated tonight, and thanks to the wiffle ball people in Shelton, Connecticut. Started back in 1953 and still going strong here in 2015. Guys?
When everybody clears out later, you want to play a game, Mark?
We got enough stuff here now because Tavis, our producer, we have 3 bats, we got balls. Like you said, we got to figure this out.
And you don't need gloves.
No.
I mean, you can play without gloves.
I'm using this bat.
Well, you doctored it
Stayed
enough.
up, right.
We're going to have to send that bat in to see if it's legal now.
A little x-ray on it.
Yonder Alonso's at the plate, his first at bat. Hitting in the 7th spot. This is where Austin Hedges was. Gonzalez Germain is on the mound for the Rockies, and that's a ground ball to DJ. Boy, that ball came up. That's how you tell when a guy has soft hands, huh?
Soft hands. That ball came up, and DJ is so smooth. Even a tricky hop, he makes it look easy. DJ sliding over to his left. They've got this. Whoops. Came up. Knowing he still has time to throw out Yonder Alonso.
Melvin Upton Jr. at the plate. 1 for 3. Single back in the 4th inning. And this is popped up.
That might stay in.
Yeah, I think it's playable for Hundley. Where Nick did a great job running to that spot and then finding the baseball again.
Gonzalez Germain came over from the Cubs. 9th appearance. 9 strikeouts in 11 2/3 inning.
Corey Spangenberg's going to be the pinch hitter here.
Spangenberg just activated off the DL today.
This kid they like.
Play some different positions. First, second, run to the outfield.
This ball's well hit in center field, but moving back and making the plays, Charlie Blackmon. A 1-2-3 inning for Gonzalez Germain. 8-5 Padres, middle of 8. Airlines, book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Mike Shaw Subaru, always our lowest price and sales and service guaranteed. And by Saratoga Casino, so new, so you. Well, school started in a lot of places, but Elitch's will continue to go strong, particularly as the weekend has begun. 8-5 is our score. Joaquin Benoit on for the 51st time this year. Nick Hundley's going to lead off in the 8th inning for the Rockies. Brandon Barnes and then a pinch hitter after that.
Fourth reliever used tonight by the Padres.
Starts out Nick with a slider. It's 0-1.
Benoit is almost the definition of that one inning guy. 50 appearances, 48 2/3 innings.
He's a guy that has a lot of closing experience. More and more teams, if they can, try to line up closers. Sometimes it's the veteran guy that's no longer closing, but you like him as your 7th or 8th inning guy. Or again, any younger player, maybe more electric stuff.
But
for
you
the
also,
9th inning.
yeah, but you also know that somebody like Benoit can close on the day that your closer's not available.
Makes a manager sleep easier. 0-2. Another slider, and it's a high fly ball to right center field. See if there's a good communication. This time there is between Upton and Matt Kemp.
Upton threw his hands out, said, "I've got it." Well, the first 10,000 fans through the gates tomorrow will receive a lunch bag courtesy of King Soopers. Get your tickets to this game today against these same Padres. So here it is. This is what it looks like. Get a little lunch bag. It's insulated in the middle. So nice size too.
It's perfect. This is
a
ideal.
good size.
Good size, yeah. It opens up.
So there you go. You can take it to your kids. You put it on as a hat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wear it as a rally cap.
Rally cap. I like that. We're going to need a little bit of a rally with 8 runs, or down by 3, 8-5. 8 runs scored by the Padres.
Barnes had the fly ball triple. That's why you saw laughter between Melvin Upton and Matt Kemp. Last time, similar fly ball, really in virtually the same spot. They both looked at each other, and nobody got within 20 feet of the baseball. It dropped for a triple, a run-scoring triple for Barnes.
One of those, I've got it, you take it.
At the time, it tied up the game at 4. Norris sets up on the outside corner, and it's a good fastball. 97 on that fastball.
Here was the play back in the 6th. Both guys standing there. I think it was equal distance between the two. I think they both stopped at the 15-foot mark. Like they couldn't cross a line.
Line shot to right, tomahawked in that direction. So Brandon Barnes snapping out of the 0 for 22. And now has 2 straight hits, also a sac fly earlier. So it's been a good solid ball game for Brandon Barnes.
And this is what you're hoping, that that sac fly that he had, but see where this ball is? How high he had to get up on top of that, and still brought the top hand over to produce a line drive.
Daniel Descalso will pinch hit. Outside corner for a strike. One and 2 on Daniel. Every night he's got to do a lot of work in the cage to prepare himself most nights for this role. Got 1 at bat late in the ball game. You know, for instance, Rockies played a 7 games on that road trip. He had 7 at bats. This 1 start. He did hit a home run on the road trip. 2 for 7 for Descalso.
Against Max Scherzer on Sunday in Washington.
3 and 2.
But it's a role that you know, and it is something that he knows. Been doing it for a couple of years now, where it's not going to be an everyday situation. So for Daniel, really taken on this role and kind of owned it. It's mine.
Runner going, swung on and missed. The throw to second does not get Barnes. 2 outs, Barnes in scoring position.
Stolen base number 2 for Brandon. Almost hits Benoit, and then skips to Clint on the Subaru Supermo. He had to come up and catch it before applying the tag.
Charlie, a walk, fly ball to left, a base hit, and he lined out to a leaping Derek Norris, who was playing first at the time, and that prevented another run from scoring in the 6th inning. would have given the Rockies the lead. Who Wants Tacos fans, follow at @RootsSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies Taco Special when the Rockies score 7 or more runs. Huge, check this out. Seattle got the no-hitter the other day.
Yes.
From Iwakuma, right? Tonight they gave up 15 runs in their next ball games. They didn't play yesterday. They lost to Boston at Fenway 15-1. It's the first time since 1905 a team gave up 15 runs following a no-hitter. Ground ball to second and the toss to first. Blackman retired. The Rockies retired in the 8th, so we'll go to the 9th. Rockies still trailing by 3. Justin Miller warming up. Jed Jerko's had a big ball game tonight. He had a double down the left field line early in the ball game to drive in a run. That was in the first. And then the 3-run shot in the top of the 7th. That was a huge blow because it was a 1-run game. And that made it 8-4. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Yangervis Solarte will lead things off in the 9th inning against Justin Miller.
Justin pitched in yesterday's game. Clean inning, 1 inning. Or excuse me, 1/3 of an inning yesterday. 1-1 on the season. Righty's hitting just 118 against Mr. Miller.
Solarte tonight's 0 for 4. He's been swinging the bat better than anybody in the Padre lineup coming into the ball game tonight.
He'd had a hit 16 out of his last 18 games. Last 39 games hit 317. That's why he moved up to the leadoff spot.
Yeah, not a prototypical leadoff type guy. He's not a speed guy, but he gets himself on base. You know, there were holes. There are always holes. There's no perfect team. But A.J. Preller did a really nice job putting this roster together. But some of the folks out there that felt like they may have some issues looked at the middle of the diamond and said, well, they're not real strong defensively in the middle of the diamond. You're going to have Will Myers in center field, who was doing a good job. But Amarista started the year at shortstop. Jed Jerko at second. Norris more of an offensive catcher behind the plate. So it's a leadoff walk for Solarte. fact, Amarista quickly lost his job at shortstop.
Well, they put Clint there, and then remember they also had Will Middlebrooks playing there until he got sent out, trying to say, we need you so bad, we're not going to play you at third base, we're going to move you over to shortstop.
And that's how desperate they were, because Middlebrooks hadn't played shortstop since high school. The best one they have is that guy in the picture right there next to Alonzo Powell, former teammate.
From way back in the 80s.
Tells you guys what he tells today. He goes, guys, I'm in a good mood every day. I haven't had to play in 14 years. Nothing to get me in a bad mood.
I don't have to try to hit that curveball. I don't have those nightmares in the middle of the night where you just wake up and start screaming.
Right. Derek Norris, a single and a home run tonight, 2 for 4. That's a strike. Leadoff walk to Solarte. The Rockies in this game have walked only 3. Flande doesn't walk guys. He went 6 innings, 4 runs, 8 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, 86 pitches. Really kept the Rockies in the game. I'm sure that's what Walt will say afterward. Pitched a solid ball game. But overall this year, the number of walks, as you know, have been alarming. Starters and bullpen equal culprits. The Rockies whip, walks plus hits per inning pitched, 1.50 coming into tonight, which is the worst in baseball. Your basis is there's a guy and a half on every inning you play.
And I'm not sure how many have been the leadoff walk, but it seems like an awful lot of those.
That's what started the problems for Eddie Butler yesterday. He got staked to a 2-0 lead against Noah Syndergaard, and he walks Curtis Granderson.
That's the hardest call for an umpire. When to call timeout, when to grant it.
I actually think it's impossible, because human nature is you hear time called by the hitter, you're going to respond in kind. Very difficult to determine. Let me see, is he about to start his move to the plate?
And Justin did the right thing by go ahead and throwing that ball home rather than stopping your motion. I've seen guys where they'll stop their motion and then they hurt a side. They might pull a side muscle, one of the obliques. Just saying, I don't want to throw it, but they do, and then they get hurt. 4,191 pro hits for each year.
Ty Cobb. A strikeout of Derek Norris. Third time Norris has struck out today. 1 out. That'll bring up Kemp. Kemp has homered in back-to-back ball games. Homered on Wednesday against the Reds. Homered in the first inning against Flande. It was his 32nd career home run against the Rockies. That's more than any other active player. He's driven in 115 against the Rockies.
And you know what's on his mind now after having the home run, the single, and the double. He's thinking triple.
And then he's thinking, somebody bring me some oxygen if I get over to third.
He'd go in the record books for the Padres.
This ball is well hit right center field. Blackman can't make the play. You know what? This may be a triple. He's around second, headed to third. Guess what? He has just hit for the cycle. You called it, Jeff, and he knows it. He hit it in the perfect spot. Matt Kemp has produced a cycle as he makes it 9-5 San Diego.
over 7,000 games in Padres history.
That's the first?
That's the first.
What's the deal with the Padres? They couldn't produce a no-hitter forever.
And then Matt Kemp comes with the first cycle in Padres history.
Upton at the plate. Now, Matt Kemp and Jed Jerko both with 4 RBI nights.
Matt Kemp knew what he needed to do when he went to the plate. Sometimes it's better that you don't hit it out. But for Matt Kemp, where he hit it and then going away from Charlie, this was better for he and the Padres because he hits the cycle. He knew he turned the Jets on around second base.
Now we got to get the no-hitter out of the way at some point, huh?
Thought by now they would have had somebody. It's Randy Jones. And
well, the same thing was said of the Mets because they had so many great pitchers playing a pitcher's park. Padres, same deal, just has not happened. That's strange in that usually probably when cycles take place, the triple has gotten out of the way earlier in the game. Tulowitzki, though, I think when Tulo produced his cycle here, he hit it to the left field corner in his last at bat and was awarded a triple. And
against the Cubs.
Was it against the Cubs?
Against the Cubs.
Ball wasn't fielded cleanly, completely in that left field corner, but Tulo was digging the whole way. There was no way he was stopping at second. That's foul. So he produced his cycle by getting a triple in his final at bat.
Was it Mike Lansing that had the cycle within his
first 5 innings? I think, right?
First 4 or 5 innings in his first 4 at bats.
Cargo finished off the Cubs literally with a cycle with a home run walk-off against Sean Marshall to the 3rd deck. I mean, that's really doing it in style.
And that's why I remember both of those were against the Cubs because they were both started by the same pitcher, and I'll think of his name in a moment for Chicago. But Matt Kemp celebrating with the #1.
I wonder how many they realize, obviously, that Kemp had produced a cycle. I wonder how many of those guys know that's the first cycle in the history of the franchise. I bet you most of them would be shocked to hear that.
So less than a third.
Up, this goes off a Nick. Here comes Kemp. The throw home to Miller. Out at the plate. Nice catch by Miller as he got flipped on the slide by Matt Kemp. Kemp drives in a run, his 4th of the day as he produces a cycle. It's 9-5 San Diego.
Well, they're waiting to see if there might be a replay. There was. It goes off the glove of Nick. Underhand toss adjusting the tag of Kemp, but the damage had been done already.
Good call.
Right call.
So the Rockies down 4 going to the bottom of the 9th. Gray will have the baseball tomorrow for the 3rd time in his young big league career. Andrew Cashner, hard-throwing right-hander, will go for San Diego. John coming off a terrific performance against the Mets on Monday night. 6 innings, 75 pitches. He allowed 1 hit. A solo home run. That was it. So Big John tomorrow. Matt Kemp. A cycle tonight. First in the history of the Padres. Well, despite it being a non-save situation, Pat Murphy knows all about playing at altitude. How the Rockies hit at Coors Field. He has sent out his closer, Craig Kimbrell. Jose Reyes, Carlos Gonzalez, Nolan Arenado in the 9th. And Kimbrell misses outside at 97.
When he had Kimbrell up, just with the 8-5 lead, even with that extra run, he's just going to bring him in anyway.
Would have been interesting had Kemp scored there. Justin Upton makes the catch, 1 out. May have elected to go in a different direction.
Also, the guy I was trying to think of, the starter that started both of those cycles for the Cubs when Troy hit it in Cargo, Tom Gorzolani.
Is that right?
Yes.
So Cargo produced it against Gorzolani, finished it off against another lefty, Gorzolani a lefty, that being Sean Marshall. Cargo had a base hit against a lefty his last time up. That's Mark Zepchinski. And this is popped up. Vargas going out. Kind of caught it in the heel of his glove. 2 outs. Tonight on Rockies Real Time, we're headed down I-25 to Albuquerque, New Mexico to connect with the Rockies' new AAA affiliate, the Isotopes. And while we're in the queue, we'll see what makes AAA so unique with players at varying points in their careers. All that we'll take to the air in a hot air balloon with one of the Isotopes pitchers. It's all this week on Rockies Real Time, and you can catch that episode right after our Toyota postgame show tonight. Here's Nolan with 2 outs and nobody on. That's a strike.
99 miles an hour from Kimbrell.
Well, the Rockies should be used to that. Every guy they faced the last week has thrown between 96 and 100. One thing to be able to, as they say in the pitching vernacular, touch a big number. They say he works at 92, but he can touch 95. In other words, most of his fastball would be somewhere around 92 miles an hour, but he can go get 95, 2, 3, 4 miles an hour more. The thing about those Mets pitchers, most of that Washington staff, they work at 97.
That's why they have over 3,000 pitches or some number for the Mets pitching staff that they've worked over at 96 miles an hour or above. The next closest team is like in the 2000s.
Yeah. 1 and 2 on Nolan with 2 outs. And this is locked to right center field. A base hit on a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. So you say, can it be hit? Yes, it can. For Nolan, he's got a 3-hit ball game. He's been on 4 times. He's also walked 3 for 4 overall. That'll bring up Paulson.
Well, and it's one thing we show with Brandon Barnes, how he got on top of that ball, but that was at 92, 93 miles an hour. It wasn't at 99 like Nolan had to get on top of this one.
Paulson 0 for 3 and a walk. Big swing by Ben. Not fair.
Drops the 87 slider.
Not right. Got him. No foul ball. All right. That keeps the at bat alive. Strike count on Paulson. Arenado at first.
Still with one of the unique setups. The way he leans over with the arms out. Anybody I've ever seen in my 30 years.
It doesn't look comfortable. 1-2. But then
it works for him.
Yeah, it works for him. And from a hitter's perspective, the at-bats are not comfortable.
I think that's what's worse for the hitter. Standing in that box. Not too worried about the setup, but what comes after.
2-2. Swung on and missed. That's the ball game. The Padres have won game 1 of this 3-game set against the Rockies with a relentless offense tonight led by Matt Kemp's 4 RBIs and the first cycle in Padres.